Hello family and friends. Today I'm making another bow tuck tote purse. I will be showing you all 17 steps. You can purchase the pattern I used at Quilts Illustrated. I will put a link in the description for the pattern, and for the first video I made when making this pink and purple purse. Now let's start on the steps for making this blue polka dot purse. This is step 1 in the bow tucks tote pattern. I am sewing the pocket. This is the main fabric, this is the lining fabric. I am now stitching along the sides of the pocket. This is still step 1. Then I will turn it inside out and press it and quilt. I'm finishing up step 1, which is quilting the front pocket. I just drew lines a ½ inch apart with chalk. Someone on YouTube said that when you're quilting, you should do the back stitching at the beginning and the ends. I've never done that before, so I'm going to try it on this purse and see what happens. Step 2 is to sew the outer top, which is the polka dots, to the outer bottom twice, for the front and for the back. Step 3 is to fuse the interfacing onto all the pieces, the linings, the 2 linings, and the front and back that we just sewed together. And then quilt it. I'm still working on step 3. I've added the interfacing and now I'm quilting the outside of the bag. I chose to do 1 inch diamond shaped squares in the navy blue. I like the contrast with the yellow, mustard yellow color. And also started something new. Decided to try adding little enders and beginners. I don't know what they're called, but all I'm doing is sewing off onto a little scrap to see if it really does help with the threads. Not sure yet. We'll see. Step 4 in the bow tuck tote purse is all about making the inside pockets. The first thing to do is to fold the fabric, cut fabric, in half lengthwise with wrong sides together, iron it, and then insert the interfacing. The interfacing is now fused to the wrong side. It's now time to top stitch. Continuing on with step 4, I am now top stitching the inside pocket. The last part of step 4 is to fold the inside pocket in half and cut it in half so that we will have 2 pockets. Now on to step 5. Step 5 is attaching the pocket into inside pockets to the lining. I'm measuring down, drawing a line. I'm placing the raw edge of the inside pocket on the line that I drew and pinning in place. And then I will sew down 1/4 of an inch from this edge. Flip it over, iron it, and pin the sides. Step 6 is making the divider seams. The first one is for the pen and pencil pockets, and they have to always be at the same place, which is 2.5 inches in from the side seam, and we do it on both pieces of the lining. And then the rest of the pocket seams can be wherever I need them to be, depending on what's going in the pocket. Step 6 is marking and sewing the divider pockets on both sides of the lining. I asked my friend to measure her phone to make sure that I got the pockets the right size, and anything else that she wanted to put in the pockets specifically, she measured them for me, and then I added 3/8 of an inch on both sides of the phone to account for the depth of the phone. Step 7 is attaching the outside pocket. I'm matching where I'm sewing to the seam between the upper and lower portions of the bag. I will then flip the top part of the pocket over, iron it, and top stitch around the edges. Step 8 is making the handle. You make it in one long strip, sew it together, and then cut them apart into two equal handles. I decided to make this one about 2 inches longer. I just found I needed just a little bit more length for my body for it to hit right for me. So I had to join some fabric together. I did a biased seam so it doesn't really show. So once I finish clipping this together, my next step is sewing on either side of this handle and then cutting in half. I'm zipping merrily away down the second side of the handle. It's gonna look nice. Step 9 is making the bow ties and the button loops. Made just the same way as you made the handles. Step 10 is attaching the button loops and the handles. To the front side of the bag. I decided to add a lobster clip onto the lining to hang your keys on. This is not part of the pattern. It's my own addition. Step 11, assembling the outer bag and the lining. I've already sewn the outer bag together. On 3 sides. I am now working on the lining. A lot of thicknesses to go through here with the pockets. Don't want to go too fast because I don't want to break my needle. And I enjoy the process, not trying to make it go fast anyways. Step 12 is tracing this template 8 times. I have to do it on both sides of the bag and the lining. Next I am sewing on the lines that I created. I folded the corners and I'm trying to nest the seam here too. So the corners should meet here. So I stuck my hand inside the bag and pushed out the corner here and the corner here. Fold it together and then clip and sew on the line. The last part of step 13 is to cut off the excess of the boxed corner. I'm also going to trim the excess of the pockets here. This is on the lining. Step 14 is sewing the bag together. So I need to turn the lining right side out. And I'm going to leave the outer bag inside out so that the handles will stay on the inside. So now I'm sticking the lining inside the outside lining. Trying to match up the corners. All four sides. And then I match the seams, nesting them. Pin them and sew around the top. Step 14 is done. Now it's time to turn the bag right side out through the opening that we left in the lining. Go in, grab it, and pull. And here it comes. Here we go. Next, I have to sew the opening shut in the lining here and iron everything and then top stitch. Only 2 more steps left to go. Step 16 is attaching the ties. They need to be 2 inches down. That's 2 inches down. And I'm just measuring over 2.5 inches just to give me how far over I think I should go. But I can change that in a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to take the tie and fold it in half to find the center. And that center I will pin at this pin. Yep, okay. Directions say to sew 4.5 inches. So 4.5 inches would be 2 1/4 would be this center. So I'm going to put a little mark, chalk mark. I just have to sew this down with 2 lines of stitching, tie knots in the end, and then the ties are on. The ties are sewn on. I sewed with blue to attach the ties. I sewed with yellowish to make the ties. Now it's time to tie the tie. Okay, and you're also supposed to put a knot in the end. And there's the tie part of the bow tuck tote. Step 17 is the last step, and it's firming up the bottom of the bag and sewing the button on. I'm using this foam board, cutting it to the size for the bottom of my bag, wrapping it with fabric, sticking it in the bottom of the bag, and sewing on the button. Here is the inside of the bag with the board covered in fabric. The button looks cute on this bag. Even the back sides look good. I made a this and that coin purse to go with the bag. I made a video of it last week. There's a link in the description box. Thanks for watching. See you next week.